players do. They have those moments that we all remember, and Thierry's right. If he could be the man who takes them to the Champions League, the treble, it elevates him. Even if we're only talking about him being his normal self in 2 of the games, like the second leg and the final. Because we're not questioning his ability. But in terms of where we rank players, we always judge players in the biggest moments, in the biggest tournaments. And that's why I sort of compared him to Luka Modric before the game, in terms of how many... He's won the Ballon d'Or, he's won 5 European Cups, World Cup final. Kevin, and that's not his fault. Sometimes it's the team you're playing with. But you've just got to do it in those biggest moments, and he's delivered tonight. And if he could do it again, if they get to the final, then I think we're talking about him not just being one of the best midfield players of his generation, he could go down as one of the best midfield players we've seen in the history of the game. He's that good, Kevin De Bruyne. I don't think I've seen many better. I've probably been watching football 30, 40 years. I don't think I've seen a better passer of the ball than Kevin De Bruyne. But he just needs that Champions League. He needs to have it, and he needs to be the man who wins it for them, or as an integral part of that. And then he can go right up there with sort of Iniesta, Xavi, Modric, who he's up against tonight, the real legends of the game.
Better than Gerrard?
Not right now, because Stevie's got that Istanbul moment. That's what I'm talking about. I couldn't say Steven Gerrard and Steven Gerrard was a lot better than Kevin De Bruyne. There's nothing in it. It'll split a debate. But what Steven's got is that Istanbul moment. It's one game, but it's just that moment that you can't ever take out of your mind when you think of Steven Gerrard. We still haven't got that one moment for Kevin De Bruyne at the absolute highest level. We've got hundreds of moments of Kevin De Bruyne showing he's the best midfield player in the Premier League for the last 5 years, one of the best midfield players in world football. But I just think of that one moment. And listen, this season could be the season.
I mean, it's still early doors because you still have a return leg, but he showed up today. Not only by passing the ball. I don't think he had a great game, but he had an important goal. This is why I mentioned about most valuable and most important player, and I think he's still the most important player in this team. But I have to say, I came across a lot of players, played with a lot of players. So a lot of players play against some of the greatest. I think Kevin his brain is, I think it's the best that I've seen. Brain, we're not talking about the way he sees the game, and this is why we were talking about it a bit before. Because his brain is in some places, I don't know what he thinks about sometimes, in all fairness. You look at him and it's almost like he's not with us, if you know what I mean, because he's that good, and sometimes it can be a problem because you're not on his level. But I think he's the most clever player I've seen in my life. We're talking about the brain, eh? It's just second to none the way he thinks. And you know why also? Because I saw him for 6 years on and off with Belgium. You also a bit more kind of, you love the man a bit more, if you know what I mean, because I saw stuff that he did in training and in games. And yes, at times it was driving him crazy because he's a perfectionist, and perfectionists don't like if the pen is here, you move it, he's not well. Like he will look at the word, don't touch my pen, you know, and you put it back and say, don't touch my pen again. You know what I mean? Those guys are not right, but is unbelievable.
You played with 2 of the best midfield players, I think, in the history of the game, in terms of Xavi and Iniesta. Now they won World Cup, Euros, Champions League. Now, do you think the greatest players, as I've just said, have to win that? Or it can just be you're judging players on their ability and what they do season after season? Or do you think the real greats have to be defined by a tournament in terms of a Euros or a World Cup and the Champions League?
It helps, Jamie. And usually those players win that. You know, it rarely happens that those players don't win that, apart if they're not playing maybe in a national team where they can, and you can understand why. Okay? But you mentioned 2 players there. Again, I go back to the same thing. Lionel Messi was getting the accolades, and rightly so. Samuel Eto'o was outstanding. Ronaldinho, I played in that team. Some other players. But the most important players were Xavi and Iniesta. They were making us stick. We have to go, we have to stop. Now we go, now we are them. And what were the stats? You can also bring stats. What were the stats of Andres Iniesta at the end of the season? 4 goals, 5 assists. But man, we needed him. Xavi, also, not a lot. But when they were not there, we were not the same teams. And trust me, with quality, with pace, with power, we had maybe better player, more valuable player, guys with assist and goals at will, but those guys were the most important players. But to go back to to what you were saying, yes, it helps. Yes, it solidifies your legacy. But I do think also legacy is about what you transmit and how you transcend people. And Kevin De Bruyne is one of those players. We talked about Thomas Müller the other day. You can be De Bruyne. It's difficult to be Messi. It's difficult to be Zidane. It's difficult to be Ronaldinho. You need some type of skills that those guys, like, they had a conversation with God. It's, but it's
what
true.
What did you say to me and you, God?
But you know what I mean. But you can be Kevin. And Kevin, his brain, I'm still thinking about some stuff that I've seen, and it is just on a different planet. And it wasn't his best game tonight. But he delivered. You still have a game at the Etihad, though.
You do. Just to go back to what you were calling for, Jamie, which was like that signature moment from him on a big stage. I know really we're talking about that happening in a final, right? But that moment in today's semi-final felt significant, certainly to Micah. Should we relive Micah's reaction to that?
Do we have...
Yes, make you surprised.
Oh.
There you go. You see what I mean to him? He's crying. It's really emotional. Like you tried to compose yourself.
You see this? Composure. What did you say? He's got his moment. Is that okay for you, Jamie? Is that okay for you, Jamie?
They've just fixed the camera for you, have they, fella?
Look at you. He's not had a big moment, he says. He's had the ball in the bar. Look at this. Bang! Kevin!
Same strike against Brazil, the World Cup.
Kevin, we love you. Kevin. Courtois, no chance.
Most important.
It's a wonder hit.
Wow.
If you want to know, how come Micah's always got such big energy, just go back to that shot and just kind of pan out on the desk, would you? And we'll show you where the energy comes from. It's a sugar rush that we get every time Micah's on set. That's the cookies that Micah
body
bought.
posture.
Can we get some Heineken next time?
No.
We're on air. Hello, everybody.
Really, Kate? Really? Wait, do you want me to do this job? Right there, Kate, really? Just throw to big mix.
Just
throw to
live
me.
TV. Hey?
Kate, really?
She's still getting used to it after
I
all
have no
these
idea
years.
what we're doing, Mike.
He was
What are you
on
doing?
absolute fire tonight, Kate, as well. He was on fire.
Listen.
Kate, what do you want us to do?
Anyway, we just want to talk you through. Well, Jamie wants to talk you through the goal, but I'm going to talk you through Real Madrid and how they applied the pressure before the goal.
Thanks, Micah. Good to know.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Happy?
Yes.
Roll red. But if you just look here, I mentioned before the game, City are going to play that press. They're going to be aggressive. Look at the Real Madrid players there. You think, how can they possibly get out here? You see De Bruyne ready to go there. If we just roll it on, it's one touch, two touch, and he doesn't go. This amount of space, so Jamie's talked about Vinicius so much tonight. He was absolute threat. Again, Akanji this side, getting sucked in, leaves all this space here. City with the numbers there, pressing, but not pressing with a purpose, leaves them exposed down the flanks. And if we roll it on, the play materialises. You'll see Benzema with a better touch. There could have been one down at this point. And these were early signs before the goal. And Jamie, you want to talk us through that goal?
Yes, so there was a couple of warning signals for Manchester City, as Mike has just shown there. So the goal shouldn't have come as a surprise. But as we know in those first two clips Mike has shown, Manchester City are trying to press really high, keep Real Madrid in their own half. But you have to look at the quality. But look at Manchester City, the huge space that Mike has just identified just here for Carragher to run into. But again, I have to look at the quality of the football from Real Madrid. It's not just about Manchester City. Lovely touch by Luka Modric. Carragher, who was outstanding on the night, and Vinicius Jr. Now we know why Ederson couldn't save it. We spoke to Rob Green, but in terms of this guy, I thought he was the best player on the pitch, and I just feel that man there is the only man who can stop Manchester City getting to the final. I think if they nullify Vinicius Junior in the second leg, I think you'd be in Istanbul.
Thierry, how highly do you rate Vinicius? Where would he rank amongst the best players in world football today?
It's difficult because you can bring defenders, you can bring midfielders in it, but definitely, right now, for me, he's the best winger out there. In his position, he's the best. I'm going to have to give also, I know we're going to, and I will go back to Vinicius Junior, but Camavinga and him, I wouldn't have liked to be Kyle Walker and Bernardo Silva tonight because they had to do an extra job on them. But Vinicius Junior, for me, as soon as he kind of, his intensity in the game dropped a bit, you could see that Real Madrid were not the same team. Definitely, I think he's the best winger right now.
I said before the game that I feel like he's probably in the top 5 players. He could even be higher, maybe in the top 3. I mean, just because I think the obvious one we'd all be thinking about was probably Kylian Mbappe as maybe number 1 in the world now. But in terms of like Erling Haaland, because he's maybe more of a goal scorer than a great player right at this moment, would you class a player like that as still one of the best players in the world, or would you have to have more than goals?
Oh, Vinicius?
No, I mean sort of Erling Haaland. So if you were talking about the top 3, top 5, would you have someone like that just because of his number of goals?
Like I said to you, and I say it all the time, I like a guy that can create and finish. That's me. Because Vinicius Junior does way more than only creates. He defended at one point on Ruben Diaz to take the ball. Showboats. I mean, minute 85th minute, I think he does a rainbow on Kyle Walker. And trust me, if he's not Kyle Walker, he's gone. Yeah. He's gone. So he has a lot of stuff that for me will make it up there. It's not only goals, don't get me wrong. It's important to score goals. It's one of the most difficult things to do in the world. But he brings so much to the game that he's up there with those guys. He's up there with Haaland. He's up there with Mbappe.
Top 5?
Haaland, right now, the way he plays, when he brings a bit more to his game, he's on his way.
Oh.
Okay, well, right, Kate, we're throwing back to you. We are live. We are on air.
Yeah. No, question, man of the match, who would you have given it to then today?
Ooh. Vinicius Junior or Camavinga, I think it was a toss-up.
Agree. It was KDB.
Camavinga was... Look, Vinicius Junior played in his position and we all know what he can do, and he did it. Camavinga never played left back in his life. He's doing it now for 2 months. He's coming in midfield, 1-2, defending. He looks strong, but the big man obviously will grab the headline, and I think he played better. So I will give it to Vinicius Junior, but Camavinga had an outstanding game.
Well, officially it was given to Kevin De Bruyne, just so you know, by the way.
What? Yeah, obviously. This is why there is a difference between ex-players, and I don't know who voted. It is true. Wow. It's a different game. Oh, you can't give, I love Kevin, amazing goal. You're telling me that's not Vinicius Junior, I want that. Come on.
Welcome back to our post-game coverage. Good to have you with us. Kate Abdo, Thierry Henry, Jamie Carragher, Micah Richards. We have promised you live reaction from Madrid. We can bring you that now. Luka Modric has been speaking after the game. Here we go. Let's listen in to what he had to say in Spanish.
Porque es uno de esos encuentros en los que uno suda incluso mirándolo desde la grada por el esfuerzo. ¿Qué tal, Luka? Muy
He
buenas.
says a lot of effort in this game. We were sweating just watching you guys. What did you think? Said, I think we finished the game well. I felt good.
Bueno, un resultado todavía abierto, 1-1.
It's a result that's still open, 1-1.
Creo que hemos hecho buen partido.
I think we played a good game.
Cómo juegan ellos, que van a tener
We knew
posesión,
what kind of game that they would play, that they would have possession. But I think they didn't create much.
Más oportunidades, una pena por ese gol que,
we have
que
more
nos mete,
opportunities. It's a shame that they managed to put that goal past us. But it's still very open. We're going to go over there to Manchester and give everything we have. So in the first 30 minutes, you guys barely had the ball. But the first shot you had on goal, you get the first goal. He says, yeah, as I said, we knew that they would have possession, but it isn't difficult to put them under pressure. We were patient. We waited for our opportunity. Even though they had the ball, I don't think they created much. And we suffered, we waited, and we managed to get to half-time 1-0 up. After that goal, I think that we improved our performance. And like I said, it's a shame that they managed to score.
A lo mejor ahí
Feel like
una falta,
the referee
pero
could have given
no
us
pasa
something
nada,
before that goal happened,
como te ha
maybe a
dicho.
foul earlier on,
Sigue
but
todo
doesn't
abierto.
matter. Everything, all good. So that's Luka Modric. Do we want to now bring in Christina Unkel and kind of talk about that Kevin De Bruyne goal, the second goal of the game that Luka Modric was talking about there? Christina Unkel, welcome to the show. Good to see you, as always. So Real Madrid feeling a little irritated, thinking that maybe the ball had gone past the line, gone out of play, out of bounds before the goal happened. Can you talk to us about your perspective on that?
Yeah, so the angle that we see from it is the camera angle at mid-angle, showing that the ball is in the air above the line. And the question is, did it actually leave the play? Here, it's incredibly tough to see. As you can see, the ball goes potentially out at that point, then changes. Now, that is a point to talk about here. As you see, you'll see the circle, the emphasis on it. Ball is in the air. Reminder, the ball is spherical. This is a good reminder, similar to the Japan and Germany game. However, and this is what we saw them upset about and for the yellow card there, not potentially for the other ones. But it is a good reminder, and one of the most controversial points is, why did VAR not get involved here? And there's 2 points to remember with VAR in the protocol and process on this. Can VAR check for a ball going outside before a goal? The answer is yes. But the most important point here is, at what part can VAR become involved? We explain it as the attacking phase of play. There is no set amount of time before a goal we go back to check. Instead, it's really predicated by the possession and who has possession of the ball. So we can debate, we can have the question as to whether the ball left, but the real answer is this actually would not have been captured in the window and the time frame for when VAR could have gone back to take a look from when De Bruyne scored that goal, specifically because there was a turnover in possession about at 66:38 when Camavinga took the ball away from De Bruyne, converted it, had plenty of time, made a bad pass that was picked off by Rodrigo. That actually started that window for the VAR to look. So even if this was out, it would not have been reviewed by the VAR leading to the goal.
Are we all clear?
Wow.
Yeah.
Christina on fire.
Could VAR have cleared it up, do you think, Christina? Is there a mechanism in place, is what I'm asking?
I mean, we have the technology here in UEFA Champions, right? We have semi-automated offside technologies. There's over 30 camera angles to have semi-automated offside technology. Every limb is tracked here within the 4 corners of the pitch. So the technology is there. So if they needed to take a look at it, they could have easily completed it as well.
So, sorry, just to be really clear, there is VAR technology on the sidelines as well, because obviously we know about the goal line technology, but is there sideline technology, VAR?
There is not specific sideline technology. What semi-automated offside provides is the ability to track pretty much every single limb on that field. That being on top of that touch line there, him reach out an extension of keeping it in, that would have been tracked and that would have been able to be determined by the camera angles from the VAR if the VAR would have had the protocol of being able to check back.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay, good.
So VAR could see that. That wasn't a problem. But is that what we're saying, Christine? So VAR could have got involved if Manchester City had gone straight ahead and scored a goal, they could have said that ball had gone out of play. So they knew it was out of play, if that's the case.
Correct. If Man City had directly scored from that within that attacking phase, VAR could have gone back to check. Here in this situation, it wasn't in the attacking phase when Camavinga won possession of it and reset that attacking phase.
Okay, cool. We appreciate you clearing that. There's a video that's going around on social media, not an official one, right? I've not seen it, sorry, because I was doing something else at the time. You got to see it. What's the video showing?
It shows the ball's out of play. But that's what Christina's explained to us, is that's just a mistake by the linesman. That can happen at times. But I think it's a case of VAR not going, how far do you go back? So what they're saying is Real Madrid had the ball. I think it was Camavinga who actually played the ball into midfield. They lost possession. There was a turnover. So I think as soon as Real Madrid have got the ball, it's almost cancelled out, if you like.
Okay.
Because they haven't, lost an advantage. Different phase of play.
Got you. Welcome back to our Champions League coverage. Good to have you with us. We've had a great night of Champions League football. 1-1 the final score between Manchester City and Real Madrid. Moment of genius from Kevin De Bruyne as well to put City back level in this game.
Ooh.
Thierry gave us this fantastic, evocative description about balance and body shape, and you said it was...
No, look at his no,
That's where KDB learnt it.
Oh,
Look
what
at
time
that.
is it, Mr. Wolf? Look at that. Why is my foot up there?
You could see he had back fat when he was a player.
That's a fantastic technique, though. Look at that.
But where is the ball?
You talked about balance, Thierry. Look at that.
That doesn't look like
Look
your
at the
leg.
straight. I could have been a
I
gymnast.
don't even know what I'm looking at, really.
Look at... Okay, on form, my technique looks better than Kevin's, no?
No.
On talent, not so much?
No.
No?
No.
Oh boy, we're going to take you out to Madrid, Bernabeu. Guillaume Balaguer's with Jack Grealish.
It is a big pitch, it's a big game. There's a lot of things that I guess during the game to play these kind of matches, no?
Yeah, listen, these are the games, we said it before the game, these are the games that you live to play in, These are the games when you're a child that you want to play and everyone in the world watching. A Champions League semi-final at the Bernabeu, you don't really get much better than that. So, to play in it, it was so good. It was so nice, I really enjoyed it tonight. And I think in the end, it was a fair result probably. I think there weren't a lot to separate us, 2 wonder strikes from both of them, from Vinicius and from Kev. And I think, all in all, it was probably a fair result.
But I guess when you, as a kid, imagine a game like this, you imagine doing 5 dribbles and a couple of goals, but in a game like this, you don't have a lot of the time with the ball yourself, the creative players.
Yeah, no, tonight I didn't at all. I felt like, when I did get the ball, they doubled up a fair bit, whether it was the midfielder Valverde coming over to help him or in the first half, Rodrigo was coming back to help. So it was difficult, at times to have like a 1v1 really. But I think they defended well, and I think in the end, our best chance of scoring was going to come from a long shot. I think we had a few chances in the first half where, the edge of the box was free to give it back to Gundo, and we didn't really hit the target or whatever. So, luckily Kev stepped up and what a goal.
You said Real Madrid defended well, so especially the first half when they were deep, but they didn't leave any spaces in between the lines, so you couldn't find Haaland, for instance.
Yeah, well, he had a few. I think he had a few half chances. But yeah, listen, they defended well tonight. It was obviously always going to be a tough game, coming here playing against Real Madrid, and we come here, purely to win. We didn't come here to say, oh yeah, let's take a draw or whatever. So I think, even though it was a fair result, we are a little bit disappointed because we wanted to win the game. But going back to our place now, it'll be interesting, and I'm sure the Etihad will be bouncing.
Okay, well, we're going to take you out to Guillaume Balaguer, who was talking to Jack Grealish over there in the Bernabeu. Guillaume, I guess obviously you got the opportunity to speak to a couple of players and get their thoughts on how they thought the first leg played out. What about your opinion?
I think it's fair that both teams feel the performance was right, was good. In the case of Manchester City, they never betrayed their style, even though being 1-0 down. In the case of Real Madrid, they defended very well, especially in the first half. City haven't created a lot of chances. Both were happy with the mentality. Every minute was battle to take control of the game, but nobody gave up. And every team reacted really very well to what was happening. And thirdly, I guess there are things to improve. In the case of Manchester City, they have to get Haaland more involved. In the case of Real Madrid, as they did in the second half, better pressure high, keeping the possession more. That will be, I guess, the indication from both managers for the second leg.
And how do you expect that second leg to play out? Who do you think is going to end up coming out of that game better?
I don't know. I don't know, because it's this kind of game that can go absolutely either way. I don't believe in the advantage of playing at home of Manchester City, as Real Madrid are capable of doing whatever. The thing is, if Real Madrid win, we'll come out with the impression that, do you know what, perhaps they didn't deserve it, but they've got this genius of a player that scored a goal. If Manchester City win, we'll think it's logical because they have played better, a little bit as it happened today.
Okay, just talking about changing subject, I guess, talking about last night, we saw you in Paris. A photo appeared earlier on in the show of you in Paris. There it is with Lionel Messi and his wife, Antonella. I guess, obviously, the official word that came out from Lionel's father today is that there is no decision on his future and where he's going. Was there anything that you were able to kind of discover last night?
Exactly that. but couldn't say it until the statement came out from Jorge Messi, in which he was saying nothing is decided. Somebody came out with a line that the Saudi Arabia agreement is in place, that's it, that's where Messi goes. I can tell you, the plan is let's finish the season and then let's see what happens. Let's see what offers we get and where he fancies going. But his priority is actually to stay in Europe, but not PSG, so let's see.
Interesting. We're going to see you in Milan next week, I believe.
That's right, and my plan is to get there early, like Sunday, and go shopping on Monday before Tuesday show. But I don't want to do it on my own, so can I choose one of the 3 guys there to come with me? For instance,
I am ready
Micah,
and available.
do you fancy coming with me shopping in Milan? Then let's do it on Monday.
You guys do have similar taste.
In what regards?
I mean...
That's right.
Oh, my word!
Stylish, we both stylish.
Big mix.
He's on the mushrooms again.
Guillaume, as the kind of the king of floral pattern on this show. Jamie, you idiot.
Yeah.
I'm interested how you would rate Micah's outfit. How would you rate the fit? Did you like it? Did you approve?
Let's say that he can get better, and in fact on Monday he will get better. So see you Monday.
Yes.
I see you
We'll
Monday.
go shopping. All right.
It's a date.
Woohoo! Okay, all right, Guillaume, good to see you. Thank you so much. We'll be at both games next week. What was the joke about the shirt? I think I missed it.
No, you don't want to get cancelled.
No.
Again. I'd leave it alone.
Yeah. Everything goes over your head, Kate, don't worry.
Erling Haaland, we talked about him so much in the pre-game. You got the sweats, Micah.
Oh, it's just hot in here, isn't it?
I'm all right.
It's
I'm
an
fine.
aircon. That's all I asked for, please.
Pretty hot today.
It's hot.
Erling Haaland, you're normally on my team, Team Cold.
Yeah, but it's hot today.
How would you kind of, I don't know, rate his performance, Erling Haaland? It was similar to KDB. We'd said he's a player that there was pressure on for Manchester City to come out and to perform and to carry the team.
We go back to the same thing. I think it wasn't like the type of game where he could be found because there was no space. Every time they were covering that cross on the second post. At times there were balls where they were coming across where he wasn't there, but he gained a couple of free kicks. He could have maybe finished a bit better there, but it wasn't the game for him tonight. That's just that. And sometimes along the way, in the run, Jamie, in the Champions League, he can't always score all the time, as we know that. But what they did, they're bringing back a 1-1 at the Etihad. And, he allowed them to come out at times, hold the ball. It wasn't like a typical game where his team could serve him the normal way. But look, you need to find a way, and they did it tonight, so hopefully they can finish that tie at the Etihad.
Why are you smiling that? I thought you had something planned. You didn't want to say anything.
No, we're going to a break, aren't we?
We are going to a break.
How long have we got when we come back?
I don't know. Why?
I don't know. It might be something I've conjured up or I want to throw in before we go. Is it time for me to put a clip in before we go?
Oh, Lord.
You know, we're still live.
What's it about? They want to know what it's about. We're still live.
We're still live.
Great TV we're bringing you tonight. We are going to a very short break. We'll be back with something from Jamie in a minute. Stay with us. Welcome back. Jamie, you got about 30 seconds. What have you got?
Well, this man on my left, Big Meeks, it was a big night for him. Obviously at Manchester City, he was really excited, but there was a lot of tension in the air. When we were rehearsing to come on to the show, the guy completely lost his head with the producer and he had to get called out. He nearly never did the show. Look at his face, look at his face. Look, he's got to go and see the producer now. Yeah, look.
Nothing is private here. Nothing.
Is the manager going to back down or the player? Don't show weakness now, Matt. I just want to know what got said.
It's confidential.
We need to know. Nothing's confidential on this show. Did you back down or did the producer back down?
What do you think?
Big Meeks isn't backing down, is he? So we can do what we want on this show now.
What do you mean?
The top man has backed down, letting power to the people. He's lost the dressing room.
Oh, dear.
He's just said he's going to get his own back tomorrow. He's just coming here.
Ooh. Oh, interesting. I wonder what we've got planned. Well, this was fun. You okay, Thierry? You enjoyed the night?
Tonight.
I was just thinking, Vinicius Junior on the left, Mbappe and Haaland forward. Please, team, someone put them together.
Pep, we knew it was going to be a fiercely contested match. Exactly what happened. What did you make of it?
When we were better, they score. When they were better, we score. Tight game. Bernabeu semi-finals always is difficult, and we got good moments, and sometimes it's difficult with the quality they have with the ball. But 1-1, final next Wednesday at home with our people.
You showed a lot of grit and a lot of fight after going down a goal behind.
No, we started really well in the second half as well. 5-10 minutes, and after they got the game, we could not take it. They make a lot of passes. They put a lot of players in the left side. They are really, really good there. And but after we make a fantastic goal from Kevin, and we had a good moments, and at the end they have also a few chances. So it was a tight game.
The tight game, it takes total focus, doesn't it? That kind of game, mental focus as well.
It's so demanding. So they are so good. They have experience, the quality, but the same. So now we travel to Manchester, and we are going to see what can do better. So when you play this kind of games, it's like a playoff. So the second, you learn a lot for the first, and hopefully we can learn and defend better and attack better.
Defensively, they were very eager to keep Haaland out of the action, and they did pretty well in that sense.
Yeah, because the pockets, the distance between the central defenders and the fullbacks was occupied for attacking midfielders. So for Modric, or Toni Kroos, or Valverde, so it was a twin central defender close to Erling. It was not easy for him, but he moved well and had his chances.
It's set up perfectly for Manchester next week.
Yeah, definitely.
Good luck.
Let's just pick up on a point he made towards the end there about Erling Haaland and Rudiger playing really well against him this evening and limiting him to not an awful lot.
Militao is normally the first choice centre-back who was out, so Rudiger comes in. And to be fair, if you was going to ask any player to come in European football at the moment, I probably would have said for aggression, application, the way he enjoys that physical element of the game. And I think that's what we've been saying about Erling Haaland in the Premier League. Who's been willing to take him and have a 1v1 battle and be confident? The way Rudiger was today, he was excellent. Alaba as well at times. He made one great block in the second half. So I think you've got to be aggressive with Haaland. I still don't think that nullifies him completely, but I thought today that's the best I've seen the centre-back pairing playing.
But I think you can be aggressive, but you've got to have the strength and the capability to match
and the pace.
Yeah, because we've seen players try to be aggressive, but not being able to match the strength and the pace, where Rudiger obviously tonight found himself isolated. We were watching it when there was the ball nowhere near him. He's pulling his shirt, pushing him around, so I think he was just flustering him around. But yeah, it's a pattern to go forward, but I don't think every centre-half can take that approach.
Fewest touches of any player who started the game, Erling Haaland. So would you start Rudiger in the second leg purely because of the way he played against him tonight?
You would say so, wouldn't you? I mean, he played particularly well, but the next game will be very different. And you'd be mistaken if you think that, I've got his number type of thing. As I said before the game, he can score.
Draw. It was a fierce one. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I think a good game from both sides. Obviously, we defended a bit more, but I think, if you want to defend, especially obviously Haaland, you need to not give him the space to run in the deep, to find those passes that Kevin, Gundogan, Bernardo, they can find easily. So we tried to avoid that. I think we played well. Obviously, as a consequence of this, they will shoot more from distance, and I think there the goal also comes from, although not really from distance, but yeah, they push us deeper, and obviously they have guys like Rodri, Kevin, Gundogan shoot also well the ball. So I think a good draw, and obviously everything to play for. Next week it will be like a final, and I hope we can put that in our mind, although it's away, but I think we're quite good in winning finals, so I hope we can mentalize it like this, even though it's in City, but that will be the task for us.
Any concerns in that first half? They had 68% possession. Obviously, the goal was the real statistic.
No, City is a team that plays with possession. I think this year with Haaland they play a bit different. They play more direct football. But even like that, when Ederson had the ball, sometimes in Premier League he shoots really deep. Today he didn't do it, I think, almost. So it's just a different kind of a game today. And we obviously, when they had the ball, we dropped a bit down to not give them space. And that's logic that they have this quality to play the ball around. I think when we recovered the ball there, sometimes we were too eager to go too fast, too deep, and we didn't control our game because we also used to have more possession. But yeah, they press well, and you don't want to take too much risk in the back. And yeah, I think it was a good game. We also had chance in the end. Ederson made 2 good saves, so it will be a fun game in City.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward to it. We've got a couple of minutes just to sort of turn our attention to what we can expect in the return leg. Look, Manchester City have got a real opportunity here because Real have dominated in the first legs in the last couple of rounds in this competition. Suddenly, it's not as simple as that. They've got to go to Manchester and come away with something.
Yeah, like Jack said, devastating form at home in recent months, never mind weeks. So it'd be difficult for Real Madrid, but I'm sure tactically there'll be changes from both managers, both teams, because we've seen it in the first half to the second half. So in regards to the outcome, it's still up in the air. You can never write either team off because Real Madrid have the history and the pedigree, but Man City can put you to the sword in 15 minutes.
I'm really excited actually to see the tactics of that second leg because I thought it was a real tactical battle tonight. I thought Man City, and Pep Guardiola actually said it, we dominated first half, they scored, they dominated and we scored. But I thought they tactically outdid Madrid in that first game. And then in the second half, they seem to be doing something on this left-hand side, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And Pep again alluded to it, saying they flooded this left area. I just wonder how it's all going to pan out at the start of the next game because Ancelotti's no mug. He probably saw them, getting beaten a little bit in that first half, and definitely changed something. Definitely on this left-hand side. I mean, Modric was playing left back half the time. Carragher was playing inside a lot of the time. So it'd be fascinating tactical battle as well. But you'd have to say, out the two teams, Manchester City are going to go home happier.
I don't see it being much different tactically. Second, I think you have to respect Man City and say they're the best footballing team around, and they're going to have a lot of possession of the ball in spells, and then you're going to have to pick your moments. And I think that's what Ancelotti does. I think he's such a wily old cat. He understands that in the game you're going to have to sit back. You're going to have a humility in saying, okay, we respect the opponents. They're going to have to take the ball, and we're going to allow that, but we've got to be punchy when we get it. And they have got killers in their team. Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr., Benzema, those guys, they can wait. And you see them, they're just purring all game, waiting, because they know they're smelling at some point the likes of Toni Kroos, Modric, at some point, Camavinga at times, Valverde, they're going to find them. They're going to have them opportunities. And these guys, they don't need many opportunities like today. Not many opportunities, clinical, score goals.
And Vinicius was most dangerous when he came inside,
Central,
wasn't he? He didn't have much in the first half against Carragher. And then as soon as they broke, he remained inside, and that's when they had the problem. But again, that'll be an interesting battle, whether he plays a little bit more inside. Because do you know what he does do? He never defends. He almost cheats and stays there. But now Manchester City aren't putting that full back into midfield. They're actually putting John Stones as central. So now that just blocks that sort of cheating position. So he's got to find a new way of hurting the team, which he did tonight, to be fair.
And there's one other interesting little subplot from a Manchester City perspective. Like, the league's gone for Real Madrid. It's done, no problem. Do what you want, rest players, whatever. City can't afford to relax for one moment in the Premier League either. So they've now got to do the business against Everton, go again next week on Wednesday night.
Yeah, but I think that helps Man City. I think they're used to that over the recent years. There's rotation. No one's getting dropped. No one feels like they're out of it at any spell because you're playing for so much and there's so much at stake. Like, if you look at the game at the weekend, he made, 6-7 changes, but then players know they have to win and have to perform. So I think that helps City's mindset and stay focused.
I think also the experience of this team, Real Madrid, they will not be going there with any type of fear or anxiety, any of those feelings at all. They'll be bouncing into that stadium with a swagger of saying, we can come here and win this game, no chance.
Yeah, but up against a team
no doubts.
Unbeaten in 21 and 14 home wins on the bounce, Manchester City will be brimming with confidence. It's like two teams that believe they'll do it, isn't it?
Real Madrid have more champions, or have the same amount of Champions Leagues as all the the English teams added up together. They hold no fear. They own this competition.
Let's see whether past glories win games of football, shall we, next week?
Now, it's no mean feat, especially in the Champions League, and even better because you went down a goal.
Yeah, very tough. When you come here, I think the lads were incredible. The effort was there. Sometimes it's difficult against this team because they have a lot of quality. I think the first 25-30 minutes we controlled so good the game, and first chance they have, they score an incredible goal. But we keep in the game. With our philosophy, we didn't keep the face. We keep playing even though it was difficult because they defend in a way that is difficult to get in. And I think the key was shooting from the frontal area. I tried sometimes, and then Kevin found the goal. and then I think the last minutes we struggle a little bit to keep the ball. I think that in this stadium is normal.
Is it the kind of game where it's mental, a lot of concentration required?
There's a lot of concentration because when you lose the ball, it's very tough to regain it. They have a lot of quality. They also want to play, and they have fast players on front. But the effort of the lads was incredible.
Kevin De Bruyne's goal was fantastic. I mean, that's a big moment in this tie, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a massive player for us always. He's been great, and he helped us in the moment we most need it. We were suffering a bit in the second half because they were keeping the ball, and yeah, with that goal he gave us the confidence to keep pushing. Even though the first half we could have a shot or with Erling, no big clear chances, but good result for us.
Does this give you a platform now for next week?
Yeah, we knew no matter what happened here, it's not going to be end. So we have the second game at home. We will need the people to support us.
I'm sure they will. Thank you very much.
What? It's 5 years since Manchester City last lost the Champions League game at home. They must feel confident. They're now 21 unbeaten this season. The run is remarkable. Let's have a quick look then at the reason why they remain unbeaten. Yep. Special goal.
Yeah, special player, special goal. But I mean, there's a couple of moments in this that I'd like to take you to. If you look here, there's Modric. He's being pressed. Rodri, top player, great defensive midfielder, going to press him. The way he plays this round the corner, but what you do need, you need help in these situations. If you're Modric, you're playing here, if you're back to goal, what you do need is you need someone to make that run. It's a fantastic run, 1-2 round Bernardo Silva, and then that sets it all open. And from this point on, it's all about Vinicius. Again, a lot of wide players might have gone out here and be an option outside there. He stays inside the pitch, that's where he's going to be dangerous. And from this point on, it's just pure magic. Power, precision, clinical.
I wonder why, Rio. I just look at this and see where Bernardo Silva, he's so honest, he chases and chases and chases.
There he is.
I just think, in a moment, he gets to within a couple of yards. I think if he actually gives up, it makes City's mind up for. I think actually Kyle Walker would then go and engage earlier and stop dropping off. But because Bernardo Silva's tracing back, tracking back, and I almost think that they kept backing off, and then got to a distance where actually the strike was on.
Yeah, what backing off does mean is it creates a bigger distance for Bernardo Silva to travel. So if they hold a higher line, a slightly higher line, and be a bit more brave in that, obviously Bernardo Silva, Gundogan potentially can make a challenge, but obviously it's a fantastic finish by Vinicius.
Well, look, Carlo Ancelotti wasn't happy. He doesn't think that goal should have stood. Let's just show you what happened when he believes the ball went out of play. It was just before the goal was scored. If you have a look at this, you can see the ball's controlled. I mean, it's controlled right on the line. Let's be honest, the angle is absolutely inconclusive, but the Real Madrid manager is certain in his reaction when the ball goes into the back of the net.
I thought it was out.
Yeah, you did. I thought it was in. But yeah,
funny that, Rio. Funny that.
Follow Carlo.
No, listen. There's a case for both, but the play done. And there's a lot that's happened since that incident. There's a sloppy pass from Camavinga. Then I don't know how or why they would give Kevin De Bruyne so much space here on the edge of the box, because he's one of the cleanest strikers of football.
But you can see straight away it's Carlo Ancelotti.
The ball is out. The ball is out.
Yeah,
he says.
Yeah, we can see what he says, Jay. But I mean, he didn't have a great angle. He was about 3 or 4 yards off the touchline, so he wasn't even looking down the touchline. The linesman was only about 10 yards away. Granted, he was looking at the back of Bernardo Silva, but I'd be very, very surprised if Ancelotti had a great angle of that and could say categorically it was out.
Yeah. Well, the best angle that we can find is this one. It's totally inconclusive. Can we just promise?
Well, just look where Ancelotti is there. He's got no way of seeing it directly down the line. He can guess from there.
Can we just say, for a strike that pure and that good, we will never talk about whether the ball was out of play ever again?
Yeah, I don't think you will. I think we can look at it on here, on the touch screen. I mean, I think Jolien touched on the point there before. When you look at it and you see the amount of space Kevin De Bruyne got, but look at it, it's a loose pass from Camavinga, great from Rodri, that's where he's great again. But here, Jack Grealish draws 2 players, Gundogan turns, and I'll just play it on slowly here. You can't give this man, at the top in the side of your screen there, this amount of space at this part of the pitch. Modric has to get out earlier, he has to see that where that's going. And I don't think he looks early enough to go. If he knew that was De Bruyne earlier, I think he goes quicker.
Oh, 100%. Listen, it's tired, there's fatigue to consider, but this strike is pure and clean. And there was an opportunity for Rodri to strike it earlier, and I was saying, don't pass it a bit wide, get it to Jack, and then all of a sudden it falls to Kevin, and I'm saying, yeah, strike
Look
it.
how clean that is. Nasty.
Do you know what? We were watching them do a finishing practice, weren't we, before the game, and he was knocking them in clean then as well. He hit a free kick right in the top corner. He hits the ball different to most people, doesn't he? He's such a clean striker of the ball, both feet as well. That was just a beauty. It's so easy to hit that high.
Yeah,
and over
I was going to say that. When the ball's being rolled back to you like that, it's so easy to kind of miscue it. It can go up, you can lean back and the ball goes over or it goes wide, or you can even bobble it into the, floor.
Get over too much, it scuffs.
Because when you try and hit it so hard, that's when the mistakes come back. He's one of those guys who just seems to be able to hit it as hard as he wants and gets the purest contact on it at all times. Fantastic.
Despite the frustration of the Real Madrid boss. Let's hear from him actually. He's just emerged and he's now with Des.
Carlo, that was a close battle. We all knew it would be. How did you see it tonight?
Good game, interesting game. Difficult for us. All the first half, second half much better. I think we had a good control of the game. Also in the first part of the game when they had a lot of control with possession, but we were in good control defensively, and then when we start to play the ball, we create a lot of difficulties.
Yeah, you didn't panic when you didn't panic when they had so much possession. You stay calm.
No, you have to stay calm. You have to keep the position defensively. Don't go crazy to press and stay there with a low block. And then we had the opportunity. We scored the first goal.
Vinicius Junior's strike was fantastic. He's in great form at the moment.
Yeah, great striker in a fantastic moment. But the team played well. The team played well. I am satisfied, and with good sensation about the game on Wednesday.
And to pick out a couple of individuals, Rudiger, Alaba, kept Haaland very quiet.
No, defensively we were good. But Rudiger against Haaland did really well, and the midfielder covered well the position in front of the defense. We managed well the ball in the second half. We are satisfied. Sometimes the result doesn't give you a credit, but the performance was really good, and we are happy. And as I said, with a strong motivation for the next game.
Just clear up, what did you get the yellow card for?
I don't know why. Played well. I am satisfied, and with good sensation about the game on Wednesday.
And to pick out a couple of individuals, Rudiger, Alaba, kept Haaland very quiet.
No, defensively we were good. But Rudiger against Haaland did really well, and the midfielder covered well the position in front of the defense. We managed well the ball in the second half. We are satisfied. Sometimes the result doesn't give you a credit, but the performance was really good, and we are happy. And as I said, with a strong motivation for the next game.
Just clear up, what did you get the yellow card for?
I don't know why. I told him.
Position maintenant. Alors que se passe-t-il? Le buteur Hakim Ziyech est resté au sol.